Hello guys, in this video I'm gonna be explaining why Lucian is never really having a good win rate in EU. It's like notorious that Lucian has 10% win rate in EU. I think it's actually 12%, but very, very low. And to me, there's a very specific reason to this, which I'm gonna be talking about in this video. Anyway, in order to understand how to play Lucian, you need to understand why pick Lucian. I see a lot on Twitter, people flaming Lucian for random things like, oh, this Lucian not clicking forward enough, he's not playing well enough individually, and that's the reason why Lucian is losing the game. But in reality, it's not true. I mean, there's some truth to it, of course, as always, but the bigger reason is that teams don't really play well around Lucian. So anyway, the strengths of Lucian are number one, lane. This champ is notoriously strong in lane, not only because you are able to pick whatever rune you want to win your matchup, you usually have summon advantage too, but you have endless sustain, so you can decide you chunk, you sustain, and eventually you will choke out enemy bot lane, right? In this case, they're playing against a very, very strong lane as well. In this game, the lane doesn't really apply just because enemy decided to pick Kame, which is a very strong lane champ, but falls off later on. The reason number two is that you can chunk. And this to me would be the biggest reason why Lucian is strong, especially paired with Nami. But I'm gonna get more into that later. And the third reason is, as I talked about, sustain. Sustain. This is also a bit Nami specific. Like this champ will change a lot depending on what support you have. But you're very strong in taking a chunk, then you sustain later, and eventually you're choking out enemy bot, enemy jungle, whatever it is, right? Then you also have to understand the weaknesses. So the weaknesses to me would be you are not great in all-in. All-ins. Because like you basically have your spells, and as soon as you threw your spells, you don't really deal damage. This champ is to me more of a spellcaster. You go in, you throw your spells, and then you peace out. You're out, you know? There's nothing more than this. And then the second weakness is being behind on tempo. Being behind on temp. Reason for this being that, and I think this is actually the biggest weakness of him, is that if you're behind on tempo, not only yourself but also your team, then you'll never have a side move to mid lane, which you're most likely going to be playing on, and you'll never be able to then play up, right? And if you cannot play up, you cannot chunk, so this goes really hand in hand with the chunk thing. And if you cannot chunk, and you also cannot all in, then what are you gonna do, you know? You cannot chunk, you cannot all in, so this is a very important point. And I'm gonna show you this in this game. Anyway, let's get right into it. Now, as I spoke about, Lucian wants his team to have tempo, because on every timer that your team has to go to mid from side lane, this is where Lucian is about to play up. So whenever you push side, your side laner is saying, oh, Lucian, I'm first to mid, and this is trigger in Lucian brain. Then he's thinking, okay, if my side laner is first to mid, and I am stronger on mid, I'll dash in, I'll chunk enemy, and if he fights me back, then my side laner is gonna come kill him, right? And if he doesn't fight me back, then he's just getting chunked for free, and we'll out-sustain them, which I was talking about. So, with this in mind, let's see how KC plays this. And now, this is something EU teams will do. Here, Lucian starts Herald. Why start Herald? Makes no sense. You're Lucian, you want to chunk people, you don't want to all-in. By starting Herald here, you're forcing a all-in. Like, you're not getting this Herald for free, right? Everyone knows this, it's even tempo. So there's no way you start Herald here to just force a fight. And I think he realizes it as well. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, actually this is bad. But this doesn't look that big, you know, you as a viewer, you're thinking, Okay, he just started Herald, like who cares, you know? But this is really big. This is really big. Because this means that Lucian is not on this mid wave. And this means that Esukama is able to push this mid completely for free. Like Pantheon does, or Jarvan doesn't even need to be here. So Lucian is not using his strength on this one mid wave, which is important because this is a wave where he could have potentially chunked Esu to this HP, Karma to this HP, and this would mean you get Herald, you know? So now they're just wasting time when Lucian is the win condition of this draft. So they're wasting time, and this is very terrible. And now I'll show you later on they will do it actually good. But here, as you can see, nothing happens because Lucian started this Herald. But here, now they're on this mid wave. And they're chunking Karma because Gnar and Galio are both hovering to mid. Their first move. So this is perfect Lucian play. This is something that will win you the game on Lucian. Now Karma is chunked, and this you should get Herald from, right? And they even do it. They play very good here. G2 recognized we cannot fight anymore. Karma is chunked. They decide to take tempo instead. So now Lucian behind on tempo. He cannot play off for a few minutes. Pantheon always has to sit around mid. And then KC does this shit. This again shows KC does not know how to play with Lucian. Because they recognize here from base, we are behind on tempo, guys. Enemy didn't contest the Herald. So they based, obviously. Which means we are behind on tempo. They're first to push both side waves. And they're also first to mid to sit up here, right? So there's no way in hell that we are looking for a play right now. First, catch side waves, and then as soon as you have caught side waves, you scout the enemy. You see if they're here or here, like they're support jungle, and then you can decide how you want to play. Do you want to play into bot, to top, and then get a push, and then take that push into mid? Of course, that's how you play regular League of Legends. But in the end, they just decide to Pantheon ult on mid, full send it on the guys that both have flash up. Makes no sense, right? So again, this is something that as a viewer, you are looking and you're seeing, it's not that bad, bro. Like, they just use Pantheon ult. Who cares? But no, it's not true. They used all of their tempo and they lost Pantheon ult, which is a big pressure point. Now G2 can get side turrets while they still get mid wave, you know? This is terrible play, and they even get chunked more. Completely terrible. This is similar to the Herald start, you know? It's more that Lucian is not able to do something because of whatever they do, then it doesn't look that bad, but it's more, on Lucian, it's more about what you're not able to do rather than what you actually do, you know? So now they even lose Drake for this. They lost on this play tier 1 top and Drake, which is weird because they are stronger. Now, this is the final point of the review. I think after this you will completely understand what I mean by this. As I said, Lucian does not want to all-in. He wants to chunk people. He wants to out-sustain them. He wants to play the areas that he wants to play in with the side moves. So here, Casey just decides to start Artican completely 5v5. Everyone has ult up, there's only no flash on enemy bot lane. But this is gonna be 5v5 with everyone full HP. Terrible Lucian fight. If anything, if they want to do something like this, they need to have Lucian chunk them on this push, but he cannot in this scenario because he will just fucking die. So in the end, it's just a terrible play by KC. They should instead be playing on mid waves, play this area where Karma is in, try to chunk them, and then get this vision, and then they can think about starting Artican once they have an advantage. But here they just, plain as I said, start Artican, and it's full 5v5. Terrible. And you can see it. They're also recognizing in this play, you can see their movement, they're thinking, oh, this is bad play, guys. This is bad. But I'm sure they don't know exactly why this is bad. I'm not sure, but I would assume. Because if they knew why it's bad exactly, I think they would never do a play like this. So anyway, what ends up happening is they're just losing this art again. They even decide to fight it. This is full YOLO play. They lose art again, and they all die. And now the game is over. So this is the exact reason why Lucian is losing games. I think the teams are just not practiced well enough on this champ that they recognize what you want to do. Because I only saw 1 or 2 good plays this game from Lucian where he was chunking enemy. But you could not even say it's Lucian only. It's a team thing, right? Because you will decide, like for example, Lucian is not deciding if the Pantheon is gonna ult on them on mid when they don't have tempo, you know. It's a team thing for sure. Because every time you make a mistake on this champ, you have like 1 or 2 minutes where you cannot play up. And this is the reason why you lose. Which makes this champ a lot harder than a regular ADC, because regular ADCs, you can just always team fight. You're a strong team fighting champ. Like, doesn't matter if you chunk the enemy first, really. If your team is strong, you just hit frontline or you just hit whatever, you know, you fight. But Lucian very specific to this, that you don't want to take fights like this. But EU teams plays this champ like it's any other ADC, right? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if there's another topic that you want me to touch on, then please tell me in the comments below. Bye bye.